Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Hidden Habits of an Effective Coach Approach Leadership Style. I'm Whitney Sullivan. I'm a motivational speaker and leadership coach based in Bozeman, Montana. In my business, I'm on a mission to give leaders the skills and support they need to thrive in their leadership practice and to advance workplace education that emphasizes the mastery of purpose, connection, and emotional intelligence. Today, we'll dive into 3 hidden practices of leading more coach-like. Being a leader means you take responsibility for developing the potential of people and ideas. And one of the best ways to do that is to integrate a coach approach into your leadership practice. We're going to talk about what essential habits really make that coach approach effective. And anytime I talk about habits, I love to share the wisdom of James Clear, author of the best-selling book Atomic Habits. And he says, we don't rise to the level of our goals, we fall to the level of our systems. We don't rise to the level of our goals, we fall to the level of our systems. And your systems are your habits. Your habits are your life's autopilot. Your autopilot is the infrastructure of your leadership approach and how others will experience you. They are consistently repeated behaviors that become involuntary. Habits are all about automating the attitudes and actions that advance the type of leader you want to be. Habits are beliefs in action. And there are a key set of hidden habits that advance an effective coach approach leadership style. Those hidden habits are self-care, the courage to challenge, and self-development. And you might be wondering, why are they hidden? And I call them hidden because they tend to happen behind the scenes. They tend to be underrated and understated in leadership training programs, and they don't tend to get immediate awards or accolades or applause. But without these 3 foundational habits, it would be extremely difficult to lead with a coach approach and thus develop the potential of your people. Starting with self-care, a coach approach leadership style needs you to be your most energized self, not your most depleted self. Your self-care is a force for the greater good of your team's growth and development. Self-care in your leadership approach is not just extra, it is essential in order to have the empathy and energy required to develop others. And we can define leadership self-care as practicing the daily attitudes and actions that put you at your best. Leadership self-care is about cultivating the systems and habits that manage stress and prevent overwhelm. Because the number one thing that gets in the way of leading with a coach approach is stress and overwhelm. It's just really hard to give to others when we ourselves are in constant overdrive. And when I work with leaders in my coaching practice, a key strategy to manage stress and prevent overwhelm that we work on is setting boundaries. Dr. Brené Brown is a best-selling author, researcher, and social scientist, and she defines boundaries as clearly and kindly communicating what is okay and what is not okay. And I also love what Prentice Hemphill adds on the definition of boundaries. And they say boundaries are the distance at which I can love you and me simultaneously. Boundaries are the distance that, as a leader, I can serve you and me at the same time. Your coach approach will require a lot of compassion and energy to be truly effective. And also in Brené Brown's research on compassion, she found that the most compassionate people were those that had the strongest boundaries, and that all throughout the research, compassion and boundaries were strongly correlated. And this makes sense because people who have strong boundary setting practices are protecting their energetic resources. So they have more energy and empathy to give others. And those are 2 things that a coach approach will absolutely require. And in my coaching practice, I help setting boundaries is a big thing we talk about when I work with leaders in my coaching practice, and is a huge part of our work together. And it's absolutely necessary to thriving in general. And I know all too well that lots of us know this theory in our heads, like we have it up here, but taking it out into action is the real challenge. So I've put together a worksheet that will help you do just that. And it will also teach you one of my favorite communication tools, which is called contrasting. So your homework from this lesson is to download this boundaries worksheet and complete it. And there is a QR code up here on the screen, or you can screenshot my screen and save the link. Or I popped a link into the comments of each video platform that is here. You can give that and download and complete your homework. The next hidden habit is the courage to challenge. To truly develop people, you must challenge them to grow, which means you have to have the courage to say the hard right things and ask the hard right questions. Because the kind of development we're talking about here goes beyond just setting stretch goals with someone or sharing lofty visions. The brand of courage we're talking about is one that gets into the arena with others and challenges them to shift their thinking from complaining to creating, to change their behavior from unproductive to productive, and to move their hearts from doubt to duty. And to take this theory to action, I do have a few tips. And the first one is to ask for consent. So if you're in a conversation with someone and you know you need to challenge them, just say, hey, can I challenge you on something? It's a clear, simple request that conveys respect and it gives the other person's brain a couple seconds to prepare. This will not only reduce defensiveness and preserve connection in this moment, it also gives you a clear, courageous segue to say or ask the hard right thing that's going to grow them. Second tip is just to be transparent. Say, hey, my motive for saying this or asking this is blank. And just share with them transparently your motive for challenging them. And my motive for saying asking is blank is just an easy phrase to place your good intentions for challenging someone at the forefront of the conversation. And it'll add courage to this vulnerable moment because it increases clarity and it reduces uncertainty about what's happening. So just reflect, why are you challenging them, and just share it with them explicitly. And the last tip is that leaders must do the daily relational work to build rapport and respect with each team member and show that they care about them as people. A strong connection with your people means that they're more likely to be open to the challenge that you're giving them. Organizational psychologist Adam Grant shared in his book, Think Again, that 40% of people are more receptive to criticism after they were told, hey, I'm giving you these comments because I have high expectations. I know you can reach them and I care about you. And I have a hunch that when you reflect on your own experience of when someone challenged you to grow or shared a hard truth with you, that it was a lot easier to take from that person if you trusted fully that they cared about you as a person. And so I want you to reflect, what are 3 habits that you embody in your leadership practice that show you care about your team, not just as workers, but as people? And one last little tidbit to share in having the courage to challenge others is that it's really important to release responsibility of the other person's emotions and reactions. And I really want you to reflect the next time you're hesitating to challenge someone because you're concerned of how they will respond. I want you to just pause and ask yourself, what is mine to own in this situation? How they respond is not yours to own. Yours to own is to be clear, kind, and to create a safe space for that challenge to happen. And you also can't control if someone actually changes their behavior. You can only control giving them the opportunities to do so. The last habit, the last hidden habit is self-development. What are you doing as a leader to invest in yourself personally and professionally? This is foundational to your coach approach and your ability to develop others, because leaders cannot develop others to a higher level than they've developed themselves. Really wise wisdom from another leadership coach and author of Closing the Confidence Gap, Kelly Thompson. And how well you lead yourself is how well you will lead others. The deeper you dive into yourself, the more equipped you will be to help others grow. And the bottom line is to encourage growth in others, you must grow yourself. So, what are 3 ways you are investing time, money, and energy into your development? And if getting more intentional about self development is something you're needing, here's an idea for a system to get started. First, identify one daily practice that gets you into honest self reflection. It could be journaling, it could be going for a long walk. It's anything that gives yourself space and stillness to reflect what's going well, what's not going well, what can I improve, what should I be celebrating. Second, identify one weekly opportunity to learn in a group setting with a network of peers. Our social support systems and growth is so important. And then third, identify one monthly opportunity to learn one-on-one with a mentor, coach, or expert. And as a leadership coach, I'm clearly biased, but one of the best ways to become a great coach as a leader is to be coached. And if you're a leader new to your role in the last 6 to 18 months, or if you're a manager of people that has never had formal leadership training, I have a brand new leadership coaching program fit just for these instances, and it's called 5 to Thrive. And the goal of this program is to help rising leaders make a strong transition from star performer to thriving people leader. This program will not only give the essential on-the-ground support you need through coaching sessions, it also provides a curriculum of the 5 core leadership skills you need to thrive as a leader, which are emotional intelligence, courage, communication, which includes coaching skills, connection, and self-care. And just at my core, I want to help all leaders lead with their heads high, hearts open, and feet on the ground in their leadership practice. And you can learn more about this program via whitneysullivan.com/thrive, which is in the comments. And you can let me know if you have any questions by popping comments in the chat, sending me a message directly, or by sending me a message directly. And to wrap up today, I want to return to our quote from James Clear that we don't rise to the level of our goals, we fall to the level of our systems. And the 3 systems, the 3 habits that we need in order to make a coach approach leadership style and our abilities to develop people really effective are self-care, courage to challenge, and self-development. Don't hesitate to comment with any questions on today's content, or send me a message directly. And just know that I'm rooting for you all always, and we'll talk to you soon.